are you doing? What are you doing? Hi, my puppy. What is it? What is that? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Gimme. Sit. Ready? Oh, yeah. YouTube is hard, but worth it, and we're here and we're happy to be here. I want to tell kind of my personal growth story, but I don't want it to be like this dark, scary, sad, depressing thing, because it is not for me. I have found so much freedom in this journey, and I wanted to share this in the hopes that if anyone can kind of relate to anything that I'm saying, that you can seek clarity from my experiences, as I have done from content creators on this platform, from authors, from podcasters, music. I love pop culture, if you can't tell, but it's done so much for me. And you finished? Proud of that? Each. So it was probably about 2.5 to 3 years ago. My life was so mundane, and I found that in the past, when my life felt that way, I wanted it to change, and it just became apparent to me in this point of my life that I could care less. And that's a scary spot to be in, but it wasn't like, I don't know, it didn't feel dark. It felt like numb in a sense. Don't get me wrong, I have had people in my life during those times that did give me that sense of like being, if for lack of a better word, like made me feel alive, and I'm grateful for those people as I was then and as I am now. It was so hard to want something better for myself. Then I was gifted this book, and it blew my life up. And when I reflect back on it, at first, it's hard to explain, because I was gifted this book in that place, and I felt almost angry in a way, because I was choosing to avoid what my life was. And being given this book was the step that I needed to get my ass out of that place, and I'm forever grateful, and definitely not angry anymore. I read this book, right, and it was like my soul as a vessel just started. If you've ever seen those movies where it's like a statue and like then some kind of like spell gets cast on the statue and it starts to glow and all these streams of light start coming out of the cracks and the crevices, that was what was happening to... I know this is kind of woo-woo, but I'm into it. I started to take all these tools that were in this book, like meditation practices, journaling, just rewriting a lot of these stories and patterns that you set for yourself, like very deep rooted in your subconscious that you don't even know. And it's so wild when you get in there, and it's scary, and you just really start to uncover and unblock a lot of things, and it is so powerful. Fast forward, I did a year of just deep, tumultuous self-help, healing growth. I did that almost to a fault. You know, there's a podcaster that I listen to. Her name is Katie Delbout, and she has a great podcast called Let It Out. And she talks about almost addiction and abuse that the self-help and wellness world gets. I don't know, it was like I was doing these things without even knowing like what I was doing, and it wasn't actually doing what it was supposed to be doing, if that makes any sense. So I reset, and there were so many things in my life that I realized I retreated into myself so deeply. I learned about anxiety. It was kind of shitty in a way, and I'd talk to my therapist about this still a lot, but it was like once I realized that was what had been going on in my mind for so long, you know, I don't know. Once I uncovered that about myself, it almost got worse. So I went through this period of trying to manage that and utilizing tools off of the internet, and that was fun. Not really, it wasn't. Another pivotal moment in my life was when I decided to go to therapy. This is something that at the time I wanted to do to better my relationships with the people that I had surrounded myself with. And it was for me, but it was more for those relationships, and then I didn't realize that was happening. And it's kind of shitty in a way, but it was like I felt so broken and just not right that it was like affecting everybody else. But the point of this is, from that moment on, I knew that this was no longer, that my life I was living was for everyone else, and I was fed up. I was so done with it. Continued to go to therapy for a couple more sessions, and then really big life changes happened for me during that time. You know, relationships ended, some relationships began. It was just a huge shift in my life, and I'm forever grateful for that, for those moments, because I got the opportunity to start living my life for me, and that was the biggest issue. Our life is not lived for others. It's so hard for me not to please the people that I love in so many ways, whether it just be affirmations or presence. It has been such a big part of me, but it was taking up everything. So I started to kind of separate and rewrite my story for myself, for me, and doing things for me that made me feel good, and it was life-changing. I decided to leave the job that was financially secure, and I wanted to move 10 hours away from my family and my comfort zone. Everything that I knew and that was protecting me in that safe space would no longer be there in the sense of like physical presence. And that was scary, but you know, I've never been more proud of myself than I am right now. I just can't say it enough how incredible it is when you do things like this for yourself. Because you give that worth that you lost back to where it's supposed to be and claim it as your own. And it's just incredible. I don't really know what else to say. I forgot to mention too, there was a point of time there where I didn't go to therapy for a while, and the only reason that I started going back, or one of the biggest reasons, was YouTube. I signed up for BetterHelp, best decision I ever made, and I owe a lot of all of this growth and healing to BetterHelp and to my counselor, and thank you. I know you know how grateful I am for you, but truly, I would not be here if it weren't for your guidance, and just forever grateful for that. That plays into what I wanted to bring to this video specifically too, is if you're in a position where your whole life you've always heard of therapy as this weakness, and there's so much shame and guilt surrounded by that, just, excuse me, family, but just fuck it. Like, it's not, that's for them to think. What do you want to do for you? What do you want to uncover? How do you want to live? Do you want these answers? If not, that's okay. But I'm just letting you know that I have never felt stronger in my life as I do right now. That really opened up and optimized my life. I started rebuilding my friendships, my relationships with my family, reconnecting with people, making new friends, which is such a big deal. Feeling sexy in my body, taking care of myself. So many things have been rewritten for me, and I'm still doing that. And will probably be doing that for the rest of my life, but I'm so okay with it. And it's because I know that I'm doing it for me. Our worth is everything, only to us. And you deserve it. You deserve to know your worth and treat yourself the way that you know that you deserve, by you, not by anybody else. Even though that's nice and comforting and cozy, because only we know what we want and what we deserve, so why not just give that to ourselves? Yeah. And I just want to read an excerpt from this book as well, that I just want to put this in, I just want to put this out into the world. Yeah. Give yourself the permission and the means to be who you are, regardless of what anybody else thinks or believes is possible. Do not deny yourself the life that you want to live because you're worried you're not good enough, or that you'll be judged, or that it's too risky. Because who does that benefit? No one, that's who. When you live your life doing the things that turn you on and that you're good at and that bring you joy and make you shove the stuff in people's face and scream, check this out. You walk around so lit up that you could shoot sunbeams out of your eyeballs, which automatically lights up the world around you, which is precisely why you are here, to shine your big ass ball of fire onto this world of ours. A world that literally depends upon light to survive. You are powerful. You are loved. You are surrounded by miracles. Believe, really believe that what you desire is here and available to you, and you can have it all. Love yourself. You're a badass. Oh, the square whale is scary.